The Driveway Podcast.
Welcome on in, everybody, to The Driveway. We are at episode 9. We've been doing this for 9 weeks now, and you guys keep tuning in. So we're back with a new edition of kind of NFL news, some NBA news, college basketball going on, WBC. We got some WWE going on. We got a bunch of stuff, man. How you been? How's it been? How's
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, man. I was kind of just watching baseball all weekend. I watched a little bit of basketball, but college ball, nothing. I actually would have had no idea Bam scored 83 points if you didn't text me, because
that's what most of my friends told me, because I was the first one that reached out to everyone being like, hey, if you want to tune into history, then go watch this game right now. And we'll get into that, because obviously people have heard about Bam's 83 points, but I'm really excited to talk about it. Our final question at the end is going to be a little bit relative to it as well. But I also went to myself to a basketball game this weekend. I was at the Windy City Bulls game on Sunday. That's where I got this bad boy, the Pope bobblehead.
The Pope bobblehead. I love
Amen,
that.
brother. Amen. I waited 2 hours in line for that. I was one of the first 1,500 people to get the voucher. That's the main reason why I went, because it's a collector's item. And then at the end of it, walking out, $150 this guy offered me. $150 this guy offered me for the bobblehead straight up, and I'm like, no thank you, because I saw online right before that there was guys on eBay selling it for $300, but it's going to stick with me for a while. I'm going to keep it.
Dude, people are relentless, though. When we were at the wrestling show, there were people that were... So when you go to like a wrestling show, the ringside seats, they have like customized little stainless steel foldable chairs that have like the logos on it and stuff. Immediately, the first thing you see when you walk out of the building is people trying to buy them.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, there's people
all collectors, yeah. Every single thing is always in a collection at the game. And the person I was sitting next to, there's this older woman that had her 2 kids. She was asking me like where I'm from, and we got pretty close, and I showed her the podcast, so if she's listening, hopefully hello to you.
Fuck yeah.
There was a moment where her kids were reaching out for these towels that they were throwing from the ceiling, right, the same way to a regular Bulls game, and the 2 kids just couldn't get up and reach it, so I finally stood up. I look up, I catch one, give one to the one kid, and the other kid, the brother, is just like, well, what the fuck, like, where's my towel? This is bullshit. Motherfucker, I get up again, I just wave my hand in the air, and I catch another one. I got 2 towels, and the lady's like, are you sure? Because like I was talking to her about how I'm a collector and how I came for the bobblehead. She's like, you sure you don't want to keep these? I'm like, trust me, I'm being this tall, I catch fucking everything. Like, this is, if I stood up again, I'll get another one. Don't worry about it. So that was a good moment. So appreciate to her, and thank you for tuning in if she is tuning in. But otherwise, we have a pretty exciting show to get to, guys. We got a lot of... NFL free agency has been an absolute whirl. I'm so excited to get into it.
There's these rare times where, like, for a week, just sports world it just beats you over the head with storylines. Like, it just kind of felt like every time you opened up your phone and you, like, looked at your phone or ESPN app, something crazy was happening. And that's not even counting NFL free agency. Like, that's counting like basketball, baseball, like the actual stuff that's happening on the court. Then you get into what's happening off the court. You're finding out all these free agent signings, dude. It was a crazy week, man. I couldn't keep up with it. It was busy.
My Twitter was just kept going every single hour.
Well, it's perfect because in about, give or take, starting on Sunday the 15th to the following Sunday, nothing matters in the world other than what's on my bracket. So it's
a very, very good point.
It's good that in March we've gotten a good NBA's NFL, like they lived up to their names. They gave us stuff to talk about, and so here we are. Let's talk about it, baby.
Let's talk about it. So starting off with some NFL, obviously free agency just started, the non-tampering period, so people are going ahead and giving out contracts. So we're just going to go through all the major ones. Obviously, there was over 160 transactions that did happen within the last 3 days. We're going to go over the big 20, maybe the big 25, and then all of the ones that the Bears did, obviously, because we're more Chicago-centered, and that's kind of things that we can argue or talk more about. So starting off, so stop me at any point. We both have a list in front of us, but stop me at any point, Danny, that you feel like you have something that you want to mention, or if you think it's good or bad. Starting off here with Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III went ahead and signed 3 years for $45 million with the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a player that the Chiefs needed, seeing that they're, Brad Smith and Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of running back room wasn't like Patrick Mahomes was still the leading rusher on that team, even though he missed half the season. This was a pretty good pickup for them.
That's like finding out North Korea has nuclear weapons. Like, it's like, that doesn't make me feel good when I go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't, like, I'm not excited about that. Like, we finally felt like, Darth Vader had been killed. And, they're trading away secondary, and they're saying, fuck off. And that's why, like, when everyone, I know we'll get to it, when Kevin Byard and Nahshon Wright were announced that they're not returning, everyone was freaking out. I'm like, dude, the Chiefs just said fuck secondary and gave away fucking Pro Bowl talent. And then they go and they're like, oh, yeah, we got Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. It's just like, it just reminds me of like the Patriots, like that dynasty. It's just like they never will die until Mahomes is out of the league. So
yeah, and like this is one of those pickups for them that this obviously it's a piece they needed and they're going to be way more offensively kind of put together because their O-line next year is obviously going to be really young. It's going to be really, really good, and they're striving for that. So running back, good. A team that's been impressing me more with their defensive signings is the Carolina Panthers. They went ahead and signed Jalen Phillips from the Eagles for 4 years, $120 million. That I believe is the largest deal of the offseason. They are going to get a lot of defensive help with this player here. And he had a few good years in Miami, and then he had a killer year in Philly. So he's the player that they're looking for.
I think you got to say the Panthers are the favorites to win the division again. I know, like, Baker's a great player, but I don't know why Baker gets talked about like he's a Super Bowl MVP. Like, he's not, he hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl. Like, he's had some gaudy numbers, but he's also had seasons where he's had awful numbers.
Yeah, and I would look back at last year, right? Last year wasn't great for him.
No, and I know a little bit of it was injuries related, but the Buccaneers, like, they got to figure out what's going on in Tampa because they've done nothing. They've only lost. They're getting older. And they have a coach that's incompetent, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, Todd Bowles really irks me, man. It's just the way he talks to media. It's even the way he presents himself. Like, he just doesn't look like he's entertained. Like, he doesn't look like he's having fun.
And Carolina, for what it's worth, not only did they overwin, not enough people are talking about the job that they did with what they had on the field. They didn't have a great roster. I mean, they were still kind of rebuilding. They had a quarterback that they were trying to figure out if he has any value. And they answered a lot of questions, and they now look a lot better for it. And then they get Jalen Phillips, who, if you gave me an option, if we sat here a couple weeks ago and you said, Jalen, do you want Jalen Phillips? Do you want Max Crosby? Or do you want Henderson? Man, I think I'd take Jalen Phillips. He's just a solid all-around player. He's brought value to every team he's been. And I'm not saying Max Crosby and Henderson aren't those kind of guys. They're clearly star-studded players, but he's also reliable health-wise. He's been on the field. And he's brought a lot of character to each team he joins. And Carolina now, like, that defense was solid, but they're starting to look a little scary, dude.
Yeah, we're talking about a team that snuck their way into the playoffs, because I'm not going to say they won their way in, but obviously they won the games that were ahead of them, so they snuck in, and they were a possession away from beating the Rams. So this is, I think, a really good pickup for them, and they had a lot of other defensive players. I'm not sure if we're going to mention all of them, but that was a pretty important one because he was the highest paid player. Moving on, Rashawn Gary went ahead and was traded to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick right after he said that he was going to get released, and then he said that his account was fucking hacked or something. Some bullshit. Like, we're living in 2026, dude. Don't have to lie to us. But he ended up getting traded to the Cowboys, and that kind of changed a few things for the Cowboys in the Max Crosby sweepstakes.
Yeah, I don't got anything there. I still don't understand value. I thought Rashawn Gary was a little bit better than a 4th-rounder. That's
what I kind of visioned too. I think it was just the idea that, like, he was set to be released either way.
Sure,
and a 4th-round pick feels, again, Jerry Jones has been giving away those third and fourth rounders. Today we've seen a lot of trades happening on their end for D linemen, but Rashawn Gary, solid player. He's definitely going to fit the scheme in Dallas a little bit better than I think he had in his time in for the Packers since Jeff Hafley's gone now, the defensive coordinator. And another Packers player, Malik Willis. Malik Willis signed with the Miami Dolphins, reuniting him with his defensive coordinator and his, I believe, the GM, right? I believe the GM of the Packers. He signed for 3 years, $67.5 million.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
This is crazy to me.
Yeah.
I don't understand value. I know everyone's calling me stupid. Malik Willis looked like he couldn't hit the side of a barn when he was in Tennessee. And I know that a lot of it's probably because of just where he was at with Tennessee. But Cam Ward came in, and sure, Cam Ward had an up and down year. Cam Ward finished with some solid numbers.
Yeah.
Malik Willis looked incompetent. He looked like he probably couldn't even play in the UFL. And then he goes to Green Bay, and he's under a good system. And in limited time, they made him look like a star. Like, they made him look like a star.
Snaps. Yeah, he had 40
snaps
in,
for what,
in
4 games?
Against the Bears they had a terrible defense that game, right? He completed 3 passes and 3 of them went for touchdowns. I do believe in him. It's one of those eras of football where I like to believe in second chances no matter who the player is, but Malik Willis feels like, and everyone's thinking the same thing, it's like he feels like the largest stretch of free agency.
I just don't understand Miami fans too. Because, like, Miami fans are celebrating, like, Tua getting bought out. But, I mean, what was that? They, bought him out for $90 million?
Yeah.
I mean, like, dude, like, first off, that alone would piss me off. If I was a Dolphins fan, you just wasted a ton of money. And, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I think Tua might be a better quarterback than Malik Willis. Malik Willis. I'm thinking basketball. Malik Lewis.
Yeah. Technically proven, too. Like, Tua's proven to be a better quarterback. I mean, Tua never did a resurgence or a second chance. Like, Tua, on his first opportunity, lit it up. Like, he was pretty good.
Yeah, and you're going into a rebuild, man. What I don't understand is, like, they're talking about Malik Lewis. I keep saying Malik Lewis. Malik Willis. They keep talking about Malik Willis like he's a win now move, and I just don't understand. I look at Malik Willis as a potential, like, bridge quarterback during a rebuild, and just trying to see what he has, and maybe after these 3 years he can go and try to kind of do what Sam Darnold did and go play winning football somewhere. That's what I look at it as. Tua, like, I don't know. If you were planning on going into a rebuild, bench Tua, play Quinn Ewers, and just lose.
I was just going to say that Quinn Ewers didn't have an absolutely terrible year. Now, obviously, he's not going to be a starting quarterback. He's closer to Josh Rosen than he is to, like, Caleb Williams, but he certainly played well. Like, he didn't do terrible. And if you're looking for a bridge quarterback, lose more games.
He doesn't cost you $67 million either.
Exactly. My worry with Malik Willis is that they're not the same player, but this is sort of feels like Justin Fields to the Jets, where they're like, we have a guy that's figured out. Like, he just needs the right system. He needs freedom of play calling, and then he's gonna get there, and maybe they put up 10 points their first 3 weeks, and then they're like, holy shit, like this is who we thought he was.
You have to have you have to kind of be realistic about your situation, right? You have to evaluate yourself honestly, and you have to look at your system and say, we don't have a system that a guy like Malik Willis could jump into and be successful. I don't think they do. Like, if Malik Willis was going to Minnesota for a 2-year deal, I know he's probably not making $67 million from Minnesota, but I think Malik Willis is going to come away from Minnesota looking very competent and probably making more than $67 million. Because I think Minnesota has a system that he could step into and play pretty well. I don't think Miami has that system, and I think the guy that could have made him look good, you just fired. I don't get what they're doing here. I think, and also you have no pieces. I mean, you have Devin Chain, great running back, but you have no offensive line. Jalen Waddle has shown signs of being a very good quarterback, but he's also been inconsistent, sometimes disappears. And then whatever's happening on defense, you just traded Minkah Fitzpatrick to your division rival. Yeah. I don't understand I don't see what's happening in Miami.
Yeah, I don't think the quarterback was the position that they should have invested in, especially if they're still paying $90 million for the next 2 seasons for their last quarterback move.
And if you're talking about someone who shouldn't have a fucking job, just the entire Miami front office is like, what? First off, how they kept their positions, but like you need to they need to sell, they need ownership. Italy's up 5-0, so I think the U.S. has just clinched the second round.
Big.
Sorry, quick
That's
update.
Big.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't understand what's happening in Miami. It does not feel like I thought Jeff Hafley was a weird hire at head coach.
Yeah.
Now you're giving a defensive, and I know they were together in Green Bay, but you're giving a defensive-minded coach a quarterback that needs a lot of love. It just doesn't seem like the right move for me.
Yeah, I would have trusted Mike McDaniel more with a Malik Willis than I do Jeff Hafley.
100%. 100%.
Moving on, tell me a little bit about the Indianapolis Colts situation here. Daniel Jones originally was offered the 1-year extension, the transition tag for $40 million. They gave him a full contract. They gave him 2 years, $100 million.
Crazy.
For Daniel Jones. That's
crazy.
And say what you want. Daniel Jones did play well, and then he got injured. This feels crazy because it's $100 million, and they just paid Alec Pierce $31 million. So their franchise right now is built on Jonathan Taylor, a mediocre offensive line, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and
a lot of questionable trades and a lot of questionable contracts. I mean,
Sauce Gardner, yeah.
Sauce Gardner is one of the weirdest and worst trades I've ever seen. I don't know. Honestly, they should have just kept being bad with Anthony Richardson. And then at the end of Anthony Richardson's, at the 3 years, say, hey, man, it's not working. We're drafting a quarterback. And then go get a Manning. Because the last time you had a Manning, it worked out. That's what I would have done. Call me stupid. But first off, Daniel Jones. They're saying Daniel Jones is going to be ready for week 1. He's going to be their starter. Who the fuck are these guys doing Achilles tendons repairs? Yeah. That fucking Tatum's out here dunking, and it's bizarro to me.
It is.
Who's the surgeon that just figured out how to make this a 18-month, sometimes 24-month injury? Now it's a 6-month injury. Like, it's just bizarre to me. It makes no sense. I don't think he's a good enough quarterback to make $100 million. I'm sorry. It was 1 year. He's been on and off, man, and that's a lot of money to give a guy for 2 seasons. I don't know.
This, in my opinion, is Daniel Jones' his last stop in the NFL. Because if he gets paid $100 million and he shits the bed here, he's not. He might be a good backup somewhere else, a Case Keenum type, but he's not getting a starting gig.
Peace.
Yeah,
no, fuck it. Daniel Jones. Let's talk about Daniel Jones for a second. He's piping down maybe the hottest woman in sports media. If you guys don't know, go look up Daniel Jones and his girlfriend. I'm not going to shout her out. And I also don't know her fucking name. What's Daniel Jones' girlfriend's name?
It's not who I think it is it?
Now it's Ella Bonafide. But he was piping down Kay Adams.
That's what I was guessing.
Yeah, and this Bella girl's not that much worse. But Daniel Jones is just a winner off the field. And now he gets $100 million in his bank account. Daniel Jones got the same type of deal that like big name college coaches who get like $156 million 4-year deals, and then they get bought out and then they just retire. That's what Daniel Jones just got,
dude. This is the contract LeBron James gets. Like,
yeah, keep talking, Dijon. I can hear you. I just gotta let my dog in, but yeah,
no, go ahead. Go take care of the dog.
She's just scratching the door. She'll come in. But yeah, no, that's to me that's where it's a weird. The $100 million. I mean, just too much up and down. Yeah. Too much up and down.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
No, for transition of $100 million is absolutely insane for a player like Daniel Jones. Now, obviously, I do hope Daniel Jones can prove me wrong at least. Like, this isn't a hate Daniel Jones podcast, but it's definitely not a, I don't know, stay here for the moment that he shits the bed. Like, we want to see him succeed, but I don't think this is a successful transaction of $100 million. But Now Danny's back, let's go on to the next player here whenever you have yourself settled. This one caught me by surprise. Simply because when you hear of a player say that he's a one-team guy, you believe that because that's something that, especially in American sports, that's a huge influential part of them and their kind of mindset. But Mike Evans ended up leaving Tampa Bay to go to the San Francisco 49ers on a 3-year, $60 million contract. Yeah, 3 years. That's the craziest part, is that he thinks he's got 3 years in him. And obviously what I always hear is that every 3-year deal is actually a 2-year deal because the third year is usually the option. But for someone that doesn't play a full season each year, I think this is pretty interesting, right? Because that means that Ricky Pearsall isn't an option. They're not looking at Ricky Pearsall. And Mike Evans is presumed to be your wide receiver 1 with Juwan Jennings out. And Travis Kelce just tore his ACL or hamstring or something like that, so he'll be out for an extended period. They're investing in Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is 32 years old.
Yeah.
If you had asked me how old he is, I would have said he's fucking 75 years old. Yeah. I feel like Mike Evans has been playing since the start of the fucking league.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. I feel like my dad grew up watching Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans, dude. This contract signs him up till 35 years old. $60 million. And this is what people are speculating, is that obviously him and the coaching staff of Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles, they never connected. And I have a feeling Todd Bowles is like that with all of his players. Running back,
I don't think Todd Bowles connected with anyone.
Yeah, I don't think he connects with anyone except Baker probably. But this is a whatever deal for me. This is one of those deals where it's like he's going to play a year. He's going to miss half the season. And then year 2, everyone's going to be like, okay, he's back. And then year 2, he's going to be like, I'm retiring from the league. I had one good year in San Francisco. That's it.
That's fucking crazy. Mike Evans, 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, maybe he does have a lot left in him. Holy shit, Mike Evans is going to retire. If he does play 3 more years, and if he even goes after 35, Mike Evans might have some of the craziest numbers
100%.
Sneakily. He might be slept on. I mean, the way we talked about Randy Moss, Mike Evans might end.
Mike Evans, Super Bowl champion, 10-time 1,000 yards, tied with Jerry Rice. He might be up there for top 20. He might be up there for top 20 in terms of
or
statistics.
Top 10. I mean,
and he's had 6 different quarterbacks in his career. I think Tom Brady being his best, Baker being maybe his most consistent. But dude, Mike Evans, you do have to put some respect on his name, and I'm sure Tampa Bay fans are pretty pissed off about the idea that he's not sticking around for that team, because they're putting a lot of trust in Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, I think for San Francisco, you're looking at this, and I would look at this and say, did we just get another guy that's going to be another injury report midway through the year? Because 32-year-old receiver who has a lot of mileage on those legs. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of guys that you're looking at on this 49ers offense, and you're saying they might be 6 or 7 games this year.
Mm-hmm. And like he also
a lot of guys.
That substation, bro. Can't rule out that substation talk that everyone's having. Speaking of another old player, Travis Kelce ended up with the 1-year extension, so he is officially back. Probably his last season, so I guess enjoy it while you can. He's not really fantasy relevant. He's not football relevant either, so he's not. He's just a glue piece that's going to stick there for people to sell seats and for the Swifties to stay engaged. But moving on from him, Odafe Owe signed with the Commanders, a 4-year, $100 million deal to vamp up that defensive line for the Commanders. That was their biggest signing of the offseason. I'm sure they're going to go out for another wide receiver or two. But this move, definitely it was expected, because with a guy like Dan Quinn, you're going to need your cornerstones, and they were pretty slow to the ball last year in terms of defensive line. The next one here, this one didn't catch me by surprise. It's more so the team that caught me by surprise. Quay Walker, linebacker from the Packers. Bears fans are well aware of who this person is. He signed with the Raiders for 3 years for $40 million. People are saying it's a slight overpay because of his character and the fact that the Raiders also have issues with building character and keeping people civil. They said that this is kind of a weird contract just because of his player type.
Raiders also suck. So,
forgot, bro. Shit.
The win now moves. I mean, like, people are talking about Raiders moves. Like, Fernando Mendoza is already a Pro Bowl MVP. Like, we haven't gotten there yet, guys. Let's hold off on this chatter. This kid's got to get there and then prove it. But like people are talking about those signings that the Raiders are making, and they're saying, "Oh, this is so good." I mean, first off, I'm not convinced Ashton Genty's not a bust.
Yeah.
I know Brock Bowers is great, but is Mendoza going to be the guy that's going to be able to get it to him? I get it. He has a high character. Everyone likes him. He's waving at the camera. He has these corny ass fucking interview moments, but I don't know. I just because he's coming in a weak class doesn't mean I have to look at his tape and be like, this is the next guy. Yeah, he's had great moments, but I don't know. I'm not ready to get married to that. You know what I mean? And
exactly. Yeah.
Raiders fans they're talking about like that he's the answer.
Too much already for what people presumed the Bears to be the best situation for rookie QB in history, and we had a 10-game losing streak. Like it wasn't easy for a lot of these teams. So the expectation needs to be there that you can hit a roadblock on any week after your bye week. You know, have pretty bad losses and lose 10 in a row, and that's kind of where the Raiders their expectations need to be because Brock Bowers also didn't have a great season, and you could say if that was injury or QB related, but Mendoza isn't going to be great. He's also not going to be starting year one, right? So that team isn't going to look great. But moving on from the Raiders, because they don't deserve too much time, but they did have a huge debacle we'll get into. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs, also from the Packers, went ahead and left, and he signed 4 years, $68 million with the Patriots. There's been a large number of Packers players leaving and not actually returning back to Green Bay. So that tells me a lot about probably where coaching is right now with Matt LaFleur and also their money problems.
I'm just happy to see Romeo Doubs out of the division. I feel like anytime that big fat helmet fucking came on the field, he was doing something to kill the Bears.
Yeah, he's getting a first down on third down every time.
He just tore us apart. I'm just saying that guy is probably going to go and do nothing in New England on a 4-year, $68 million. That's just how it is.
He's a little check down guy. He's going to play the Stephon Diggs role. He's going to get 50 out the game.
Yeah, but it's just like it's one of those moves that like you just got tired of watching this guy kick the shit out of you every day, or every time we played him. So it's just good to see him go. But yeah,
this one might be one of the crazier topics of the free agency here is when the Jets went ahead and traded for QB Geno Smith from the Raiders. The fact that the trade happened and it wasn't just him acquiring Geno Smith back with the team that drafted him. Do we expect anything here? Do we expect any sort of transition?
He's not gonna like take him to the Super Bowl. Here's what I like about what the Jets are doing. They're bringing in NFL competent players. Now I think they have a incompetent coach, and I think they have an incompetent front office, but you have a ton of draft picks.
Yeah.
And look, dude, you got to go out and you have to bring in guys who are going to help these young players when they transition become NFL ready players. And look, Geno had a bad year. Let's just forget about Geno's had a pretty impressive career. What he's done to save his career, what he did in Seattle. I know 20 touchdowns, 17 interceptions with the Raiders. Like,
yeah,
that's Jameson Winston numbers. But at the same time, like, he's a high character guy, and he's been on his deathbed in the league, and he's rebuilt himself and turned himself into a really competent professional. And I don't know if your idea is to draft a guy like Ty Simpson. Which is kind of the Jets have 2 top 20, top 15 draft picks. If you go and you get a guy like Ty Simpson who has a lot of talent but still is kind of like young in terms of like decision making and growth, this is not a bad move to pair him with a guy like Geno. It's like when the Bears had Andy Dalton for all those years and they kind of kept him on to help with the younger guys. Same with Nick Foles when they paired Nick Foles with Mitch Trubisky. And that worked. Unfortunately, it ended poorly, but I love the idea of bringing in a guy who's going to be with you for a little bit to help out maybe your next guy.
100%. And Geno obviously is well equipped to play in New York. He's been there before. Geno, the things I like about Geno is he doesn't take shit. Geno likes to clap back, right? So even if you give him shit, the one thing he knows is that he's still an NFL starting quarterback. And also, people don't give him a lot of credit for his leadership. Like, playing on that terrible Raiders team, they did win a few games. Like, he still brought them to win a few games, and technically that was a win against the Bears that we blocked the field goal. Like, he isn't terrible in terms of leadership, and that's might be a little bit of what this team needs, is a little bit of, representation from a guy who's been to the bottom, back up top, and is like, guys, like I was here when the Jets were terrible. I came back and they're worse. Like, I'm not gonna sit here for another bad Jets team. So I'm excited to see what they do with that. I think the offense still has a lot of question marks for the Jets, and Aaron Glenn is so-called a dead man standing, saying that he's not gonna be around next year. But I'm excited for this move. It's questionable that they traded for him, but I still think it's better.
Yeah, and I don't really understand Jets fans, because Jets fans were screaming the name Jacoby Brissett. And I don't know. The way I look at this, Geno Smith doesn't cost you much, number one. Number two, Geno Smith has won. He's gotten to the playoffs as a starter. He hasn't won a ton, but he's had a successful NFL career. He's in Seattle. He did a lot of really great things, I thought. In a time where it was a hard transition away from Russell Wilson, he kept the Seahawks competent.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett to me is just a guy who stat pads on 3-win teams.
Exactly.
Not saying he doesn't have a. Not saying that he doesn't have a terror, like he doesn't have talent, but it's the same thing when you see a guy who averages 30 points a game on a team that's last in the conference, and then all of a sudden, he goes to a Golden State and he's averaging 7-8 points a game.
Yeah, I like Jacoby Brissett. I like him a lot because he kept Trent McBride relevant last year in fantasy terms, but otherwise, the Geno Smith to Jacoby Brissett, you should want both of them because they're both kind of the same guy, but you run it back with Geno.
Best backup quarterback in the league.
Yeah, 100%.
Jacoby Brissett would be the best backup quarterback in the league. I'm not bringing him in as my day one starter.
Yeah, no, 100%. You can invest that in him, expecting the same results that he gave you on a team that, again, won 3 games. So that part I get. Speaking of great defenses, though, because the Reed Blankenship, safety from the Eagles, went on to the Texans for 3 years, $24 million. Texans defense got a lot stronger, especially after they extended Danielle Hunter, I believe it was, for 1 year, $40 million. So there's another player that got LeBron money. But, dude, Texans defense got stronger and stronger. They didn't lose any pieces. They just gained. I'm pretty impressed with the offseason they're having so far.
Hell yeah. I like where the Texans are going. What I like what the Texans are doing is they're not overreacting. I think lesser franchises would look at CJ Stroud's performance and they would change the whole landscape of everything. They're saying, let's just bring in guys to fill in holes where we feel like we can improve. We had a great season last year, and let's try to get a little bit farther in the playoffs next year. I like that they're not over.
Exactly, yeah. It's a good point for them to keep focusing on defense as well. Tyler Biadasz, center from the Commanders, he originally was on the Bears' radar. He signed with the Chargers for 3 years, $30 million. That is about the average price that people are paying for centers and O-linemen this offseason, but he lands in a good place for playing for a good quarterback that obviously had some injuries. The O-line had a lot of injuries last season.
They need to keep adding. I mean, they need Jesus Christ to come back and resurrect as an offensive lineman and step in on the tackle. I mean, they had so many holes. That offensive line is awful, so they just need to keep adding. I mean, great addition, but it's like when you have a starting 5 and you're like, look here, we got Trae Young, and then let's talk about the Wizards. Hey, look here, we got Trae Young, but you have 4 other positions that are absolute dog shit. Keep adding, Chargers. You know what I mean? You got one guy. That's great. Fill him out. There's
Don't
more
stop
positions.
It here. Yeah, exactly.
Don't stop it here.
Mm-hmm. Former Bear linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who we kind of presumed that he would be, on a 1 year or 2 year deal. He signed 3 years for $36 million, which was way above the pay grade that he was worth. Being a Chicago fan, we understood. He's going to be a great piece for them, but he just didn't have the zip that a lot of Chicago fans were hoping for that he had in his 4 years. So yeah, 3 years, $36 million. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean, he stat padded on a really bad team. And then when we got good, he kind of disappeared. I'm gonna miss him going. I said it again. It's Chicago. Yeah. I mean, I love Tremaine Edmonds. I think he's a great player. You know what? 3 years, $36 million isn't a horrible signing. I mean, there's
especially for the Giants, they had a lot of money.
For the Giants, I mean, look, if the Giants think they're going to be good, Tremaine Edmonds is not a bad guy to have on your team. I mean, they brought in Isaiah Likely to play tight end, which was another big signing. I mean, they're doing a lot of things, and Tremaine Edmonds is the kind of guy that can step into a hardball system and have an amazing year. So I didn't hate it. I didn't hate to see him go, and I hope he does really well with the Giants.
I agree. Giants are an exciting opportunity for him, playing with a little bit of a younger team again, and a head coach in Jim Harbaugh.
John, Jeff, Jason. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they're one of the J's, man.
It's John. Jim.
All right, so
Jim's Chargers.
John's old center, though, became the highest paid interior O-lineman in the history of the NFL. Tyler Linderbaum signed with the Raiders 3 years, $81 million. And for anyone that knows a rookie quarterback, the first thing that you match up with your rookie quarterback usually has to be your center.
Yeah.
Usually has to be your center. And so this is going to be a really good move for them. Again, Tom Brady being part of the general team there, he understands as well. It's like you got to build a good O-line. That way that the QB can kind of make passes and have more time to throw. And they'll be in a good connection. This is a good opportunity for them. Because obviously, I don't think Tyler had any other options. Like, I don't think any other team was going to be like, yeah, we need a center for $81 million. Everyone is saying the Bears had an opportunity for this, but every mock signing the Bears had was usually like $50 million. Like he was not getting $81 million.
The Bears didn't have the money to. The Bears realistically don't have the money to get a huge replacement. We're going to have to draft a center.
And there's a lot of good centers out there in the draft.
This is a great defensive line draft. Look, I love what Tom Brady is doing, and I kind of like that the Raiders are serious about being good again. I don't think it's ever really an overpay if you bring in an established talent on the offensive line. Only because if you fix the offensive line, everything seems to look a little better. It's the same thing with the defense. If your defensive line is really good, everything else kind of looks a little better. Doesn't mean that every unit is like a great unit. It's just saying, like, if you're hitting the quarterback, your linebackers and secondary are going to look a lot better. Yeah. And if Fernando Mendoza next year standing there without getting hit, he's going to make throws that he wouldn't make when he was being rushed out of the pocket. So he's going to, you're immediately going to get better on both sides of the ball, which I appreciate. And Tom Brady seems to have a vision, and I don't think the Raiders have had a vision there for a long, long time.
That's a really good way to put it. They haven't had a vision. This year definitely feels like a vision. We'll get into a little bit of what else they're dealing with here just after a few players. Tua Tagovailoa signs with the Falcons, 1 year for the vet minimum, $1.3 million. Two lefty quarterbacks now, lefty center, lefty wide receiver.
Hot take. I think Tua is going to have a better year than Malik Willis.
Yeah, I could see that. Do you think Tua starts? Do you think he's the starting quarterback? Yeah.
They officially released Kirk Cousins. The Phoenix has 2 casts on 2 legs. He's walking around crippled. He's not walking around. He's in a wheelchair. Tua's had really good moments of, like, when the Dolphins had a lot of playmakers around him, Tua looked like the best quarterback in the league. When that year they put up 70 on the Broncos, people were talking about Tua like he was an MVP.
Yeah.
That's just how this league is. Now they're not even talking about the guy like he's a competent quarterback. I think this was a Kevin Stefanski signing. There's a lot of people sitting around saying, oh, Stefanski can't get good quarterbacks. I think Stefanski looks at Tua and says, I think I got a good quarterback here. Yeah. Because now he steps in for $1.3 million for 1 year. It is not a bad deal, number one. And number two, a guy who's proven to know how to elevate playmakers around him is now stepping into a Falcons offense filled with playmakers. He's got Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts. Who's the receiver that they have, Dijo?
I believe Drake London.
Drake London.
I do believe, unfortunately, Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier did sign somewhere else. I forgot.
All right. Well, Bijan's the big.
They got a lot of. They have so many
Bijan's the big one there, but I'm just, he's got 3 absolute like burner game beater talent players at receiver, running back, and tight end. So, like, Tua could step in here and have some really good numbers. Now, is he healthy? Is Stefanski going to roll him out? Do people believe in Penix? What is Michael Penix's next step? Like that. I still have not seen what other people see in Michael Penix. I don't.
Me neither. He had some success, but he didn't have the same success that, like, even J.J. McCarthy had, where it's like a couple good wins under his belt. He did beat the Bills. That was a pretty impressive one, but that wasn't single-handedly his job. More of a team collective. But I'm excited for this opportunity for Tua, because I think Tua's he's been trashed for most of his career, and he did have a pretty healthy start to his career. So I think this is, for $1 million, what do you have to lose? You truly don't have any other option, and you got a great offensive roster. If you figure out that Tua isn't the guy, then guess what? You release him for $1 million. It's not a big deal. Then you figure out who the best quarterback is for this offense. But moving on to the last kind of important transaction, Kevin Byard, the leader of the Bears defense last season, led the league in interceptions. He went on to sign with the Patriots for just a normal 1-year contract worth $9 million. There was a report asked why he left the Bears, and he said that it was between the Bears or the Patriots, 100%. And people know that he has got a relationship with Coach Vrabel, and so then New England it was. It sounds a little bit like this might be his last season. That's kind of the vibe. Like, I think he wants to go back to the coach that taught him how to play his good position. He's now a leader. The team just made it to a Super Bowl. I think he's in that category of, like, I think he's got one prove-it year left.
Yeah, I thought he was going to retire at the end of this year, but I thought he was going to go out on top. But, I think he's going to try to go off winning another Super Bowl. I think he sees the Patriots. He sees where they got last year with incompetent team. Feels like they're getting better. And he could go in there, be a rotational piece, like you said, a leader, and get them over the hump. And maybe walk off winning another title. So.
Now, Ravens fans, you've had a pretty fucking crazy last 3 days. Let's walk everyone through it who hasn't been around. March 9th, all right? March 9th, you wake up to the news that Max Crosby is traded to the Ravens for 2 first-rounders. Now, the trade isn't accepted yet, but it is in league terms, so league circles know this trade is going to happen at the beginning of the league year, right? 2 days is all you have to wait. March 10th, the day after, at night, right? I remember sitting there on my couch. It's already like 10 p.m. March 10th, Ravens reportedly backed out of the trade due to Crosby not passing his physical. The Crosby is healing from a partial meniscus tear, so obviously there's a little bit of transition there. He had an issue where he wanted to play last season. The Raiders called him injured. He posted a video of him like dunking and playing basketball, showing that he was healthy. But it is true he does have an injury, so he isn't truly mobile at the moment for like the way a pass rusher should be. March 11th, right? The trade no longer exists. March 11th, you wake up, Ravens signed Trey Hendrickson to 4 years, $112 million. It's the second largest deal in this season. That's pretty fucking crazy. So the big trade-off is this, right? As a Ravens fan and Ravens ownership, they look at this and say, Crosby, he's worth 2 first-rounders, and then we have to pay him $104 million. Hendrickson, on the other hand, we keep both our first-rounders, and we have to pay him $112 million. Sounds like a pretty fair trade-off. I mean, where do you stand on this shit, man? This is I haven't even witnessed this before. This is crazy.
Yeah, I've never really seen this, but that's really why they say it's not official till the final moments. And look, I don't think it's the injury that backed the Ravens off. I think the Ravens used the injury as kind of an excuse, but I think they always were pursuing Hendrickson. And I think at some point, Trey Hendrickson became available. And I think that put them in a situation where they said, okay, do we back out of the Crosby trade and sign Hendrickson and keep our 2 first-round picks, which ultimately they did because it's the better move. And again, I think that we knew Crosby was injured. This is not a surprise to anyone. Obviously, it's going to get used saying he didn't pass the physical. I mean, the guy said he was having surgery. We've known he's been having surgeries this whole offseason. So I think the Ravens were pursuing Trey Hendrickson. They didn't think it was going to be available to them. And then when they saw that Hendrickson was going to come back to the team or was willing to sign with the team, I think they said, let's keep our 2 picks that we sent to the Raiders. And let's continue to build in the draft around Hendrickson. It's the right move, right? But why I say that is because it happened so quickly. I mean, literally, like you said, 10 p.m. on your couch, you find out they back out in the trade, and then the next morning, they wake up and Hendrickson's on the team. I just think this was more the Ravens were trying to make a move, and they probably had some type of nerves around the actual trade that they did, and then they got nervous, so they made a signing. But what they just bring Hendrickson in overnight, and at 3 a.m. had a sit-down interview, and then at 5 a.m. he's on the team?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen. The Ravens were pursuing Hendrickson well before they made this announcement. So
100%. I definitely agree with you on that. And whether people want to look at it as like baiting, but the Ravens played their cards. They played their cards, and people may be upset with that, but they played their cards to the direction of like they wanted to get the better deal that fit their team. Today, ownership of the Ravens stepped out knowing that this was a big commotion, so he stepped out and had a conversation. What he said actually surprised me a lot. He said that they had Crosby and Hendrickson in the building at the same exact time. Their goal was to take both of them. They wanted both Crosby and Hendrickson. And then as soon as the Crosby injury kind of came to light, they said they felt way more comfortable just going in and taking Hendrickson alone without also dealing with the Crosby situation. So that fucking surprised me because that defense, first of all, would have costed a lot of money, but it would have been a pretty great defensive line. You got both of the 2 top 5 edges playing with each other. Who knows if they would?
But there's no way. There's no way. You still have to remember they have Roquan Smith on quite a massive contract. I mean, you'd have to get rid of everyone, and just have those 3 fucking guys. I mean, and then not only that, you have to pay Lamar Jackson. You have to you got guys on this team who are making big bucks. An NFL team is not just 5 guys.
Yeah, and whether it's true or not, whether it was a lie. It still makes total sense why they went for Trey. They needed to make a splash. They needed to impress their coach Jesse Minter in his first year. I do think this team is going to show up this season. I thought they were going to do it last year. I did have money on them, but I think this season makes a little bit more sense for them. And if you're ready, we can go on to the Bears moves, and then after the Bears, we'll talk a little bit.
Well, if I was the Raiders, I'd send somebody to fucking bomb the Ravens practice facilities.
Yeah, that's the other part we haven't talked about. Yeah,
because the Ravens fucked the Raiders because literally the Ravens traded. People were talking about Crosby like this was going to be like they were going to have to give up like 3 first-round picks, and then the Ravens traded 2 first-round picks and then said, you gave us damaged goods. So now there's teams like the Bears and Cowboys that are going, we're not going to give you what the Ravens gave you. We're going to give you maybe 1 first-round pick, maybe 2 second-round picks, but we're not... you're not going to just fucking fleece us for a damaged goods player. Mm-hmm. And he probably isn't damaged goods. I mean, he had surgery, but he's probably going to be just fine when he plays.
Yeah.
But now you can't say that to teams.
And also the famous quote by Stephen A. Smith, yesterday's price is not today's price. which is definitely what people are kind of going through here. And whether the Bears gave him an offer or not, everyone's speculating that the Bears gave him one first rounder and a second rounder. I don't believe that's true. If we were involved, then it would have been more vocal. But if we're involved now, I would probably say also not. I think the most likely scenario is that the Raiders did mention that they do intend to sign all the players that they promised contracts to. Bringing Crosby back would mean an extra $100 million on the books for them. I do expect them to keep Crosby. I don't think it's Crosby's moment to be traded. I think if a team comes out, then they're going to have to sell pretty low. I think they have a pretty good opportunity. Just the defense got a lot better, got a lot younger. They're given an opportunity to kind of show Max Crosby, okay, stick with us for one more season. Let's see how it goes. But he also might be a trade deadline candidate is kind of where I'm in my eyes.
Hey, if I was the Bears, I got an extra second-round pick.
Yeah.
I might give him a call and say, I'll give you our first-round pick this year and maybe a third-round pick in next year's draft if you give us Max Crosby. I'd do that. I would 100% do that. And then just go all offensive line with your second-round picks because you just fucking solved the defensive end riddle there. Because then you got Max Crosby, Montez Sweat, and Booker all on the same defensive line, and it gets a little scary when you have those three guys
exactly
on top of Neville Gallimore. I mean,
well, yeah, we'll get into a little bit of Neville here because we're going to talk about some Bears moves now for all the Bears fans. So obviously the first thing we're going to talk about is the DJ Moore trade. DJ Moore in a 5th-round pick to the Bills for a 2nd-round pick. Pretty big steal. This is the trade we had to talk about first because the only reason why we were able to sign these 8 or 9 players is because of the DJ Moore trade. Freed a lot of cap space. Happy for DJ. He goes into a good situation. I'm not going to say better because obviously with the new coach, Joe Brady, and kind of things are in a weird position in Buffalo right now where they're maybe a few steps away from being like, okay, we have to kind of, restructure, retool. But I do like that he's going to a good situation. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 there.
And they just signed
a 2nd-round pick, big.
They just signed Nick Chubb today too.
Bradley Chubb,
Nick Chubb.
It's another loss that the Dolphins had from their defense. But after the DJ Moore trade, again, thank you DJ for all you did. Just a little moment of appreciation for DJ because he came to the Bears when we were literally jack shit. He vouched for Justin Fields, which was another big thing. It shows a lot of character. And whether he had kind of on the field issues with his mentality or his just being physical in general, he did have one of my favorite catches in the history of being a Bears fan. So thank you for that. I'll appreciate your memory. He was the big piece also that got us Caleb Williams. That was in that part of that trade. So I'm pretty stoked about how all that played out.
Yeah, can't say enough good things about DJ.
Exactly. So yeah,
it all worked out. This last year he gave us everything, and I just hate that it ended on that play where he was concussed and lost us the game against the Rams. He gave us some really great years of service.
Yeah, people shouldn't remember him that direction. Just for the Bills' sake, Bills should understand that they're getting a very, very talented wide receiver 1. He has glue for hands. He'll catch every single ball going his way. He's going to be a stud in Buffalo, and I would definitely advise people to invest in DJ Moore stock now that he is in Buffalo because he's got the opportunity now to get 10 targets a game. And when this guy got 10 targets with hands like that and the yak that he usually gets, he's a stud. And I'm definitely going to miss him in Chicago, but this is now a prove-it moment for Chicago receivers. Rome Odunze, no excuses. Luther, 2nd-year jump, you got to take it. But after DJ Moore, my favorite signing was definitely Kobe Bryant, the safety, Super Bowl champion out of Seattle. We signed him for 3 years, $40 million. I'm really excited about him because this shows that the Bears defense is now getting revamped, and that Dennis Allen is the one in charge of being like, picking my guys. Now it's my turn to pick the guys. I love Kobe Bryant.
Huge step up from Kevin Byard. I mean, Kevin Byard really had a huge year statistically. Turned the ball over a ton. But Kobe Bryant is just a better defender. He's just a better overall player. And I think he steps in at safety, and immediately a lot of our coverage issues go away because this guy just plays the field and also has the ability to turn the ball over. Solid player, like you said, just won a Super Bowl. We know he can win at the highest level. He's been coached under a defensive mastermind, and now he's going to come into Dennis Allen's system and really bring along what he's learned. It's a great move.
Yeah, and also he's like, out of all the players that the Seattle Seahawks lost, he was the one that the fans were kind of the most upset about because they felt like he was the biggest structural piece, a piece that you can kind of sit and know that you have foundational safety back there. But here's this next player, someone that you were hyping up as soon as it dropped. You were saying stud, beast, animal. Linebacker Devin Bush from Cleveland Browns, 3 years, $30 million. That's a great deal for $30 million.
The guy, first off, he could do everything that Tremaine Edmunds could do. Devin Bush is a competitor. He comes from a Harbaugh system. He's got a little bit of crazy in him that you want a linebacker to have. If you guys don't believe me, go YouTube him stomping out the Spartan logo at Michigan State when he was. That was him.
Holy
that was him.
Shit, that was him.
That was him who stood there. Stood there by himself, stomping out the Michigan State Spartan logo as the team was walking by him. He wanted all the smoke. He didn't duck it at all. He had probably one of the best interceptions of last year, was a big cornerstone of the Cleveland Browns, who a lot of people forget was probably maybe over the last 2 seasons the best defense in the league. They've sucked, but the defense has been elite, Super Bowl worthy, and Myles Garrett hides a lot of the other guys. You don't just have one player that makes you Super Bowl contenders. He makes you a Super Bowl caliber type of defense. It takes a team. Devin Bush up the middle was excellent for them. I just think he's a great player, and I think he's got a competitor attitude. I think he's going to bring that in with the Bears. I think the fire of Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson is going to pair really, really well with him. I think we got ourselves a winner.
I'm really excited about that because obviously, as you know, Ryan Poles does one thing pretty well, and he's pretty good at spreading out the love on the linebacker room. This is the same thing that happened with Roquan. We turned Roquan Smith into TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmunds, and now we're turning Tremaine Edmunds into 2 new linebackers. One of them is DeMarco Jackson. We'll get into him, but hopefully one of them is going to be through the draft as well. A lot of big names there. But tell me, you mentioned Neville Gallimore, defensive tackle from Indianapolis. We got him for 2 years, $12 million. Do you know much about him? Because I can't say I do.
He's had moments. I saw him. I know he's coming from Indianapolis. I saw him a lot more while he was with the Rams. He had some decent numbers. I think he had like 3.5 sacks last season. I like that you can bring in the one thing that we need on the defensive line is we need NFL caliber players. We need I'm tired of us drafting twitchy guys or like the Bookers, and every year it seems like we draft some big lard ass out of college and we're like, this guy's got the physicality, the traits, to turn into one of the best tackles. Well, we got a guy who's been a player for a while. He's a veteran type player and he's going to help out at tackle. So filling out the line, I'll never get mad about it, especially when it's 2 years, $12 million. That's a pretty cheap deal for a defensive tackle for anyone in the NFL. It feels like every player gets overpaid. But a part of being a really good team, Dijo, is filling out your rotation and filling out your entire roster, not just having 1 or 2 guys who get it done. So, like you said, I'm hopeful that we're going to draft at defensive line and we're actually going to get a productive guy. And hey, maybe we do get Crosby. But Neville Gallimore is just a solid veteran, solid rotational guy, brings us some talent on that defensive line, which we've really missed other than Montez Sweat.
What I've heard is that he's a little bit he's another one of those run stoppers. So that shows that he isn't an answer. He's more of just a rotational piece, right? He's not. This is just 2 years for $12 million, so pretty much is a prove it year for him. This also tells me that their faith in Billings is also kind of dwindling because he's been around for a while, but he also hasn't adjusted much. He is more of a tackle for loss guy, but he didn't average any major statistics last season. So I think this is somewhat going to be his replacement or his rotational piece, just to help with the rush defense a little bit. Because if the linebackers are still getting adjusted, right, we're going to have a new linebacker, part of a new linebacker room, part of a new safety room. Then we need to make sure that the run defense on the first wall, isn't going to immediately break. That we have some strength on the wall, interior wall there. So, but one of my favorite signings is actually investing in special teams. So punt returner and kick returner Khalif Raymond, Ben Johnson's old wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. He signed for a year for $5.1 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown went on social media saying that this is the greatest teammate he's ever had. He's very sad to see him go to the enemy. I'm really excited about this because he's also going to be playing a lot of wide receiver minutes, because right now we're looking like Jade Walker's wide receiver 4, and that's not the greatest wide receiver 4 I could see as building the draft. But I'm really excited about his position here, because he is very fast guy.
Yeah, I might have to argue. I think Jade Walker might be ready for a wide receiver 4 type of position. I mean, I think if you're asking him to put up what Zaccheaus did last year, I think Jade Walker has the ability. I mean, Zaccheaus only...
Well, he definitely has the ability, yeah.
Yeah, he only had, 300 receiving yards Zaccheaus did all year? I mean, Jade Walker could easily be 500 receiving yards if he gets opportunities. Is Devin Duvernay gone? Is that...
I believe Devin Duvernay is likely gone, yeah.
Okay, so
good,
I mean...
But he was pretty slow. Like, you could see in his punt returns, like, he just didn't have a lot of touch.
Devin Duvernay was phenomenal, and I mean, he showed us, like, the Bears showed that you win games in special teams, and the league has also showed that you can also lose games in special teams. Like, there's 3 phases, not just 2, and you have to be good. And Khalif Raymond is an elite returner. And I mean, the Bears don't win the division unless Devin Duvernay gets us in field goal position against Minnesota. Point. So you bring in a guy who's absolutely explosive. He had about 200 receiving yards last year with Detroit. So he does have some ability to play the position, the receiver role. He's explosive. I love it. I have no problem bringing in quality guys that have played with your coach, who you think is your future. And also, not only has he played with your coach, but he's also been one of maybe the best players at his position. I mean, regardless of the position, if you have one of the best guys who do it at that position, it's an immediate strength. And I think Khalif Raymond, in terms of returner, Khalif Raymond is a top 5 returner.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And to add to your point, because you said Neville Gallimore is a run defense, Devin Bush also specializes in stuff in the run. And that is something the Bears did not do last year very well, is stop the run. So they got 2 guys who specialize in run stopping. Maybe they're going to get a little bit better and not get bullied by top running backs.
Very, very excited to see Khalif Raymond in the Bears uniform, because he's going to be very fast.
Explosive. Hopefully he gets a kick return against the Lions.
Yeah, exactly, awesome. Yeah. We have a few more here, but I'm just going to run through them, and then we'll go through a few of the key losses here. Just let me know if any of these kind of ring to you. We have left tackle Braxton Jones is coming back for a 1-year, $5 million deal. He's got $5 million in incentives, so it's going to be roughly $5 million. It's kind of what people are thinking. Linebacker DeMarco Jackson is back for 2 years, 7.5. People were guessing that he was going to be the starter, but after Devin Bush, I don't believe he's going to be the starter. Case Keenum is back on 2 years, $5.5 million deal. People think that this is, Trav Bagents. Tyson Bagents. Fuck me, sorry. I don't mean to forget.
No, you're good.
Tyson Bagents, probably his exit out of here, knowing that he's going to be here for the next 2 seasons, and Tyson Bagents $20 million. And then we went ahead and signed left tackle Jedrick Wills from the Cleveland Browns. He's been in and out with injury and stuff, but he is a former first-round pick. He's going to be in for a 1-year prove-it deal. That's just, again, the Bears investing in just a few left tackle replacements, just in case.
Depth piece. I mean, just in case you get hurt. You need at least guys who've gotten drafted at talent. I know a lot of people were shitting on it, saying, like, this guy hasn't done much, but he was in Cleveland, and I don't know. I think that I trust the system to take a top 10 guy. He's still only 26. Turn him around into something. Like I said, it's a 1-year deal. He's coming off the bench. He'll be playing behind someone. Who
knows if he gets more than 10 snaps, but either way, it's going to be an opportunity for him. And then the key losses that the Bears had were Nahshon Wright. He signed a 1-year deal with the Jets. Kevin Byard signed a 1-year deal with the Patriots. We also ended up losing Tremaine Edmonds, obviously a 3-year deal with the Giants. A player that has not gotten signed yet, who was on the top 3 board for safeties, was Jaquan Brisker. Played 4 years over here in Chicago. Had a pretty good time here in Chicago. I'd say 2 of those seasons he was in the Pro Bowl category. The other 2 he was bottom. I'm really surprised to show that he's one of the last. Again, he was top 3, right there next to Kevin Byard in terms of what his position would be heading into free agency on the market, and he has not gotten signed yet. Day 3.
I think he's coming back.
You think he's coming back?
Yeah, I think he's trying to work out a deal. I think the Bears are letting him test the market a little bit. I do think he ultimately comes back. A lot of people were saying the reason why he hasn't come back is we were trying to ink Kevin Byard. I never thought that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Brisker back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I thought Brisker was a really good player. I like his competitive edge. I think he does a lot of things well. Obviously, there's some things that I think he can improve on. I don't like when a guy has linked to concussion problems because that can end a career real quickly. Yeah. And I think that's probably why you haven't seen him signed yet, is because that shit follows you. And so, but yeah, if you're going to tell me that he comes back on a 2-year deal, that's pretty affordable. I'd love that.
I do think that makes sense because Kobe Bryant and Kevin Byard both were kind of in the free safety role, so they're both kind of the guys over there all the way in the back, reading the quarterback's eyes. So with Kevin Byard being gone and Kobe Bryant coming in, that means your strong safety. So Jaquan Brisker is likely to stay, or else we're gonna have to go find another replacement for him. We did sign Elijah Hicks back. He's also a safety from what I remember, but he's definitely a depth piece, nothing more than that, because he had a 1-year deal. But I agree with you. I think Jaquan makes his way back. I wouldn't be upset with it. I do think that the closing games of his career in the Bears last season weren't too great. He was kind of punished a lot by the Rams, but I don't think that's his problem. Again, Dennis Allen has the opportunity to kind of finally sit here and be like, this is now my defense. I'm no longer playing with other pieces. And I do like Jaquan Brisker in terms of his ability and he's young, his strength. The concussions were a problem, but we also faced that with Kyler Gordon, and it looks like both guys are coming in healthy coming into the season. But that was our hour and 6 minutes of NFL football, guys. And if Danny had any more closing remarks, we'll head to some basketball. We'll head to some b-ball here because we had some pretty big topics there. And then after basketball, we'll talk some baseball and then go on to NCAA basketball. We do know that it's been obviously an hour here, so we'll try to kind of squeeze it in as much as possible. Starting off here with Jason Tatum has officially returned from his Achilles injury. I believe that was on March 10th versus the Mavericks. He looked good, and I do think the Celtics, this puts them back as the favorites over Detroit in the East. I don't think Detroit has as strong of a roster. Now, Vucevic is out for the next 4 weeks, so he's going to be gone, but as soon as Vucevic returns, I do find it difficult for the Knicks or Detroit to kind of, work against Boston here. Boston's too difficult to play.
Yeah, look, Tatum looked good one game. Let's see once we get to playoffs. I'm still really worried about that. I still don't believe you could just come back from an Achilles. I know he's a young guy, but that Achilles injury was brutal. And if you're Boston, you gotta be asking yourself, are you risking the future here? Because look, Jaden Ivey probably at one point said he looks fine, and look at where we are now, saying that he doesn't think he's the same player anymore. Yeah, maybe game 1 he comes back and he goes, oh, that was a little sore. Game 10, he might be sitting in the locker room saying, oh, I think I still have a fucking problem here. Time will tell. I think Jason Tatum's just a lot more of a competitor than Jaden Ivey, and you'll have to scrape him off the floor before he says he's not the same player anymore. But like you said, without him, I still think Boston was my favorite in the East.
Yeah. You make a really good point with that, because even though he is young, this is his first injury ever. So I think he's definitely coming into this being like, I'm stronger, I'm better. It's going to take time, but my biggest worry is how soon is he going to realize that this is Jaylen Brown's team, and maybe Jaylen Brown's team for this foreseeable future as well, not just for now. I wonder how that's going to gel with him, because knowing that in the playoffs when they won the championship, it was Jaylen Brown's team again. How well is he going to gel in the playoffs, and how well is he going to come back with they have a little bit of a new starting squad. I know Joe Mazzulla is going to do everything he can to help ease him back into it, but I'm more impressed with the idea of him coming back setting a deadline that actually is true, not him lying about it and being like, come back a month later. No, he pushed himself for March 10th, and that did happen. So that was pretty cool in a historical standpoint. But we did see some more history happen yesterday. Yesterday, we saw history happen, boys and girls. This was one of the most exciting moments I've ever witnessed in basketball, because no one else has ever witnessed this unless you watched Kobe Bryant's 81-point game in 2006. But Bam Adebayo, number 14 overall pick, he went on to score 83 points last night against the Washington Wizards in Miami, which is the coolest part because he did it in front of his home crowd. That is the second highest point total by a player in NBA history, right behind Wilt Chamberlain. You guessed it, 100 points, what there's no evidence of, but people kind of understand that also was a cheap 100-point game. I'm sure he must have gotten fouled a million times and must have, took 600 shots, but it also officially passed Kobe Bryant's famous 81-point game in 2006. Miami did end up winning the game, so it's not like he scored 83 and a loss. It was 150 to 129, and Bam Adebayo set records for free throws made with 36 and free throw attempts with 43. Now, obviously, messaging you about this the last 2 days, most people didn't recognize this was happening unless you heard it from me. I sent everyone the text with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter going, hey, Adebayo has 77 right now, guys. Let's just understand that he is 77. He might break the record. If you're interested in watching, come on by. I was you could see me right now. I'm jittering. I'm still super excited from watching that and getting to witness it. I don't know if maybe you had a different reaction. How did it process for you?
I think it was really cool when somebody beats the dog shit out of a horrible team like the Wizards. 36 free throws isn't the most exciting thing to me. Look, it's cool. I'll give you that. 83 points is really cool. I don't think it's that. I really don't think it's an amazing feat in today's NBA. I think it's more amazing he did it only hitting, like 6 threes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a really cool moment. But there's a reason why no one was watching the fucking game until he started getting close to 80. Yeah. Because Miami's a mid-tier team and Washington's absolute dog shit. He had nobody covering him.
He did have someone. It was 3 people guarding him the entire fourth quarter, but I still agree with you. There was no one guarding him.
Three people on the Wizards guarding you is still. It's like saying. It's like it's not really 3 people guarding you. I think that it's still a really cool thing. I talked a little bit of shit to defend Kobe, but at the same time, Kobe didn't pass the ball. He had 2 assists in his game, and the Raptors were also really bad that he did it against, and you kind of see the life of the Raptors had left them. Kobe took like every shot in that game, which...
Yeah, this was my favorite text that I received from you last night. Obviously, we're texting back and forth. He says, "This is why I ain't give a shit about Bam dropping 83 on a tanking Washington. Kobe did that in an era of no tanking and defense. Last night, Cameron Payne dropped 32 points." That's how he finished his text. We just see the greatest feat.
Keep reading that. Keep reading that. Keep reading that.
Okay. That was the most by a 76ers bench player since 2020 when Furkan Korkmaz dropped 34. Bro, who the fuck is Furkan Korkmaz?
Who the fuck is that? I don't remember. I think that is a made-up player. I don't remember once watching. I looked it up. He's like some Turkish player, and I'm like, for the longest time, Hedo Turkoglu is the only guy I know from Turkey that's played in the NBA. I have no idea who that is. And also, I looked up his numbers. He averaged like 2.1 points per game in the NBA. He dropped 34 points in this league. Yeah. So dude, I don't look. I'm not a hater. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be one of these people, these know-it-alls on the online, and Bam Adebayo ain't shit. Bam Adebayo's a dog. He's such a fun player to watch. He's probably the only reason why Miami isn't the most boring fucking team in the league.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week when we said that maybe we should do an all-star NBA All-Stars versus Kentucky team because of a guy like Bam. But I just don't really I just don't really look at the competition that some of the bottom half teams are playing, and I'm sorry, it's just bullshit, right? Yeah, I just doing it against a team like Washington where their whole identity is to lose.
I do get it.
It hurts.
It's a bit cheap, right? Because it's like
I won't say cheap. It just takes away. It just takes away from the situation, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you get a girl's number and she's so drunk she forgets she gave you her number, and it's like I didn't really get her number. Mm-hmm. I got a drunk person's number. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know, it's an asterisk sign. It doesn't count. You have to go and try to get someone at a coffee shop number who's not inebriated. Like,
yeah, no, seriously, it's
Bam Adebayo dropped 83. Bam Adebayo dropped 83 points on a team that plays like they're inebriated every night.
Mm-hmm.
The Wizards are so fucking bad.
The Wizards are terrible. Now the Wizards are terrible. Not the worst team in the league, but they are pretty bad in terms of like. Me and you were talking about in the group chat where we're in the.
Are they the worst team in the league? Because I don't think they're trying to be bad. I just think I think they're seriously bad.
Comparatively to Sacramento, do you think they're worse? Sacramento's trying.
They're actually trying, but Sacramento also has a retirement home on there as a team.
It's a very good point. Yeah,
but like Indiana,
yeah.
Indiana's not trying, nor is Utah. Utah is having surgery on guys who had nothing wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jaren Jackson's getting like a mole removed off his ass, and they said it's like microscopic knee surgery, and he's out for the season.
Yeah, they're doing some like human centipede shit over there in Utah.
Dude, and who the fuck is even playing for Memphis?
Yeah.
I have no idea who. I can't name one player other than Ja Morant. Oh, Ty Jerome. Ty
Jerome.
You know, he's over there,
but he's out for the season. But no, I agree. I mean. My thing with the whole Bam situation is that it's like if you weren't a Cubs fan in 2016. It's like you still got to sit there and appreciate the history of it because it took 108 years. It took so much time, and finally the city that deserves it, you know, took it. And I look at that as Bam and Eric Spoelstra. We're like, Eric Spoelstra put trust in Bam, and when Bam had 37 points in the first half, they were just like, man, go for it. Like Eric Spoelstra was like, man, green light, go for it. If you get hurt, fuck it. There was a moment where he was about to get subbed out when he hit 81, and Eric Spoelstra kind of dabbed him up, and that was a symbol of like, no, like go beat Kobe's record. Like this is like no respect, like all respect to Kobe, like go beat his record. It was just cool to witness this only because of two things: history, records are meant to be broken, no matter what it is, right? Home run records, fucking Michael Phelps butterfly swimming times. Records are meant to be broken, whether they're in cheap ways or not. I love seeing history made. And then the other thing is that, like, dude, when are we ever going to see this again? Do you think in your lifetime, again, totally random question, we saw it in 2006, so it took 20 years. Do you think we see someone beat 83 points?
We might see it in April. We might see it in April. With the way teams are playing, we might see it next month.
Yeah.
You know what I think is great is it's not a guy like LeBron.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't like a guy like Bam is a really good player. He seems to be a guy who's going to give his entire career to the Miami Heat. Like he's loyal to a T to the Heat. He's just a really easy guy to cheer for. His mom and girlfriend were in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a cool moment. And like I said, it's not a guy where like LeBron, where everything has to be fucking LeBron. Like, everything has to be LeBron. Even National Women's Day is now about LeBron, which is still the funniest clip
exactly.
on the internet.
Yeah.
With him sitting on the sidelines, and he stops him and he goes, hold on. First off, Happy National Women's Day.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron is such a clown, dude.
Such a ploy.
He's such a fucking clown. But no, Bam Adebayo couldn't happen to a better guy.
And I agree, right? Yeah, so I do respect Bam in that sense. And unless you had any other closing topics, I want to close out with one of my favorite tweets that I read. My favorite tweet was this. It was, if Asia doesn't give Bam the business tonight, I will. That was my favorite tweet of the night because I just feel like that's so, like it's true, man. Like, so Asia Wilson has the highest point total in WNBA history with 56 points. Bam is second place, obviously, with 83. That's a power couple right there. They're going to give birth to the next MVP, no doubtedly. But that was really exciting for them as a couple as well, because they're the best NBA couple or the best basketball couple you could say on planet Earth right now. Not from accolades, but from just straight skill. I'm really excited for Bam, and that's, closing that chapter. I don't know if the Driveway podcast, I don't know if we'll ever mention this record ever again, or if we'll ever mention it getting beat. So just closing the book on that and just, appreciating the moment,
Mm-hmm.
Appreciating the moment.
It was a big moment.
All right. Moving on. We got you got the game in front of you right now, so I'm sure you can kind of give me an update on how things are looking for the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. Now, obviously, a few updates of regular things. Shohei Ohtani obviously is dominating again. He is showing why he's the best player in the world. Japan, a very, very fun team to play. Ozzie Albies hit the first walk-off home run in WBC history. Just few important things, but I think the big thing that people want to talk about or want to hear us talk about is either tonight's game or yesterday's game. That was Italy versus Team USA. Italy ended up winning, upsetting Team USA 8-6. You were live for the entire game. You watched this and you weren't watching Bam Adebayo, and I was doing the opposite. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about what I missed and kind of what the
First off, I'm not shocked. Italy's got a really good team. First, the funny thing that you sent, but it is true, is the Americans beat the Mexican Americans just to go on to lose to the Italian Americans for a chance to play the Puerto Rican Americans. I mean, that's really what it is. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Italian team; it's just all white guys that are from America that have like a mom with Italian ancestry. Not even maybe a grandpa, but no, the U.S. did this last WBC where we lost to Mexico. Mark DeRosa is an absolute fucking clown. He did not know the rules, and he literally thought last game was a throwaway game. He had Clayton Kershaw out there where it was going to be like this big chance to do a big send-off to Kershaw, and then he pulled Kershaw out of the bullpen because someone said, hey, we can't lose 16-0 because we could still get knocked out and we still need to try. And so halfway through the game, the U.S. just started scrambling, trying to limit the amount of runs that they gave up, and then also the run differential. Mark DeRosa is a fucking clown. He's an idiot. He should not be coaching this team. I could do a better job coaching because at the very least I would know the rules of the actual tournament. He's a dipshit. Italy has a talented team, so I'm not super shocked. I guess I'm more shocked at the level of enthusiasm that it's looked on the Team USA sideline. They just don't look like they literally are acting like it's a spring training game. There's no pride. I'm first off, the one thing I'm most excited for is Seiya and PCA. PCA hit two absolute home bombs last night, and Seiya did. He's had 3, I think, with Team Japan. Those two guys look ready for the season. I'm so pumped for that. Bregman's had a really good, even though they pulled Bregman, he didn't play last game. So I'm really excited about that. Some things I'm not excited about. So it looks like U.S. is going to get out and they're going to be second in the pool play in the group. So we're going to be playing a pretty decent Canadian team. And after Canada just beat Puerto Rico and they just beat Cuba. They just eliminated Cuba, who is a really good team. So if there's a team out there that really wants to embarrass the Americans after we just took hockey away from Canada, Canada would love nothing more than to take baseball away from the Americans. Yeah,
could you imagine that?
And so literally I'm just sitting at home laughing after we stole Canada. We talked all the shit. And then if Canada comes out and puts up a crooked number on us in baseball and we have to eat all the shit we just talked about for not even 2 weeks, if they beat us at America's pastime, dude, It would murder.
That would
it would kill me.
That would be pretty fucking crazy. But obviously you have the game in front of you, so let me know in case any of these have been updated. But we have a list of the eliminated teams and the teams that are kind of on the brink of elimination. A group of eliminated teams is Brazil, Great Britain, Australia, Czechia, and then teams on the brink of elimination are obviously the United States, Israel, Netherlands, and Nicaragua. Let me know, because obviously there's a game going on right now, which is Mexico versus Italy. And
so Mexico's out. You could basically put Mexico. They're done.
Mexico's done.
Yeah, so Dominican Republic is beating the shit out of Venezuela. They're up 7-3. So there was some excitement because if Venezuela upset Dominican Republic, that would mean Dominican Republic and Japan would have to play next round. Still, Japan-Venezuela is going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get Dominican Republic, Korea. So Italy will go on to play Puerto Rico. So that'll be a good game.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun matchup. So there's going to be some good games. And honestly, not a hater. And I don't want this to fuel if Canada does beat us, but I do think U.S. probably has the most favorable matchup because I don't think Canada is that good. However, let's just say they're the greatest team in the world right now, just in case. But they did lose to a dog shit Panama team. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to just leave that there. I think the U.S. had a pretty great matchup.
Yeah.
However, what that does do is if Japan does beat Venezuela, the U.S. has to play Japan to get to the final.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think the best team right now is Dominican Republic. They look scary. They've been blowing everyone out. They're probably going to beat the brakes off of Korea on Friday. They're terrifying, dude. Like they're literally just fucking killing teams. If you look at that lineup, man, they also look like the most passionate team. Like they're having so much fucking fun. They're dancing.
Yeah.
They're like enjoying themselves. Like this is the time of their lives. There's a lot of pride to be Dominican in that dugout. I'd say the same thing for Japan, but Japan's a little different. They're very professional. They're very serious, determined team. But this is a very important tournament to them, and they are not taking it lightly at all. And then you just look at U.S. and they just they look like this is kind of a burden, right? Look, man, the Americans need to fucking win this tournament. We need to get somebody in this locker room, not Judge, that's going to stand in front of them and be like, where's your fucking pride?
Mm-hmm.
It took Paul Skeens, a Air Force grad who has a little bit of pride to be an American, to actually come out here and for us to beat Mexico. And you motherfuckers still almost blew that. We still only won 5-3 after he gave us a 5-0 lead. Where the fuck is the pride? That's what I'm asking. It's embarrassing that we've only won one of these.
Yeah, honestly, I was just about to say that. I know.
And the first 2 years, we didn't even make it out of pool play. It's just absolute fucking stupidity, dude. And everyone's like, oh, well, the Italians, when was Jalen Duren a Mexican and Alec Thomas is from Arlington Heights or whatever the fuck. And it's like, all right, what are you complaining about Jalen Duren and Alec Thomas when we have Judge, Schwarber, Skeens, Skubal? We have a mammoth of a roster.
Best team. Yeah, this is the best. This is like Canada versus Team USA in terms of Canada being the best team on earth.
That's a little more of a fair fight. Honestly, it's a little more embarrassing that the Italians beat us because that Italian roster is nowhere near as good as ours. Whit Merrifield, Canada has had a loaded roster, but the U.S. hockey team is pretty talented. It's not as good as Canada is, but it's definitely a close second. I don't think anyone comes close to us. Even Japan, even Dominican Republic does. But I just from a level of talent that play in the MLB, I don't know, dude. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. And if they fucking lose to Canada, I might not watch baseball.
What are you gonna? Yeah, that's the craziest thing is that I was gonna ask that if Canada beats USA.
I might not watch baseball because those are all Canadian dudes. Like Canada can hold that up over our heads.
That would be tough. That would be tough. I'm not gonna lie.
That would hurt.
Taking hockey and them taking baseball would be like a.
And another thing that would be tough is if the U.S. beats Canada, and then we beat Japan, and we're like, oh, we're back, and then we just get the dog shit kicked out of us by Dominican.
Yeah, that's also a possibility.
That would fucking blow. But best of both worlds. Venezuela upsets Japan. We go out and we beat the brakes off of Canada. We beat Venezuela. And somewhere along the line, whether it's Puerto Rico, whether it's Italy, it's probably more likely to be, somebody finds a way to beat the Dominican Republic. And I'd love to see the U.S. get another crack at the Italians. I don't think it's going to happen. I just think Dominican's too good. But
yeah,
I don't know. The way that team looked yesterday, we have no shot against Canada. And it's scary to say.
We'll see how that goes. I mean, you're going to
keep us updated, yeah. What you don't understand about Canada winning that group, Canada beat Puerto Rico in Puerto Rico. They went to fucking Puerto Rico, San Juan, and they beat them in their national baseball stadium. That's pretty impressive, dude. Yeah. Like, we're not fucking around anymore, guys. Like, wake the fuck up. We're not losing to Canada in the WBC. Fuck, dude, because I don't know what's worse. I don't know what's worse if we fucking lose to Canada or if the Japanese kick the shit out of us again. I don't know what's worse. I'd love to beat Japan. I want to play Japan.
Isn't that the excitement of the WBC? Is you get the opportunities to prove yourself? I'm really excited about it. Whether we're the favorites or not, beating a team like Japan would show dominance, and obviously, if even a loss versus Japan would show Japan's dominance. Where it's like the game has grown so far to where it's still exciting to see these countries compete on any level. And that's just being a dual citizen. That's the dual citizen in me talking. So yeah.
I am a very prideful American citizen. I love this country. I love sports, so I always get really behind American sports. And it just happened. It just feels like the sports I give a fuck about, no one else does. I've been trying to promote men's soccer in America.
Okay, yeah.
I've been watching MLS games. If I have to watch us fucking losing a Gold Cup after all our players decide not to... If you're a fucking soccer player from America, what else do you have to fucking play for?
Yeah. This is your moment.
Like everywhere in the fucking world, the international tournaments are the biggest deal for Europeans, Africans, every other person. And America's like, we're getting paid. I'm going to stay in Germany. Go fuck yourself, Christian Pulisic. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not Spain, Italy. He's playing in Italy. Fuck, dude. Hockey we got the dog shit kicked out of us every year by Canada. So like that, you saw how fucking great that felt.
Yeah.
Here in America, like, what the fuck are we doing? This roster...
we're too concerned about the mid-range sports. And by mid-range sports, I mean NCAA basketball, women's basketball, college football.
Don't even talk to me about women's... First off, there's only women's basketball. Don't even talk to me about that.
We don't have to talk
who are they fucking playing? Who do they play? There's only we're the only country who let women play basketball, and we're the only country that has black girls over 6'3". The rest of the world sends little white European girls that are 5'5" to go up against Asia Wilson. Like, of course they're gonna lose by 60.
No,
and
yeah,
fucking the U.S. I want people to know why the U.S. women's national team doesn't get paid what other men's sports get paid. And this is going to get wild, but this is a hot take, right? Most countries don't let women play sports. Australia currently is hiding the Iranian women's nationals team because if they go back to Iran, they would get beheaded. Really, there's only 4 other countries that allow women to play sports: Brazil, Japan, U.S., Sweden, and maybe Switzerland, maybe, but China, you can't tell which one's a man and which one's a woman on the soccer team. And you look at the men and the women's team, it looks absolutely identical. I'm not even trying to be racist. They literally look like
face. That's how I knew you were serious.
they literally look like the same exact team. But like really, France has, which is crazy. France has the female version of Mbappe. Just a tall, lengthy black person, like, that's really good at soccer. Like, France has that in both men and women. But literally, I don't know. Like, the U.S., look what they just did in the She Believes Cup. They were jogging out there against lesser, like Canada and Argentina. Those, not Canada, Colombia and Argentina. Those teams were, like, up against the U.S., they looked like a club team playing like a varsity team. Like, they just were running out there with no formation. The U.S. were just like playing with their food. Now look at the men's team. Imagine if the U.S. men's team played Colombia and Argentina.
Yeah, true.
We would get the shit kicked out of us.
Yeah.
And that's just because women they don't have the same liberties they do in America. Call your local feminist and tell her that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know that everyone feels like they're treated like a subhuman in this country. Sorry, dude, we get treated a lot better than people in other countries.
It's a perspective that people don't take on often, because I agree.
They do not.
Traveling around the world, I see how other people are treated. I see how other genders are treated. And I come back to the U.S. and I go, why is everyone bitching about this all the time? Like, I just came back from England. And I'm like, people on the street are just like, it's a completely different world. Now, the U.S. isn't perfect. No country's perfect. Just moving on to what you said, like, I agree. Like, the U.S. has liberties that people don't really recognize all the time, that, especially in the sports district, you can make a living being an athlete. Around the world, it's very difficult to be an athlete, whether your team's too good or your team's too bad. The U.S. is right in the middle. You can be a D2 athlete and support a family in a middle class house. Like it's perfectly fine in that regard. I just came back from a G League game. A G League game. Mac McClung, like, again, he's a star, but he's in the second league in basketball terms. But he's a star. People don't recognize him around the world. Kevin Knox, former first round pick. Like, there's players that have names that are making good money being in a D2 league.
And Megan Rapinoe needs to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Her net worth is somewhere between $3 to $5 million. What? I'm sorry, Megan Rapinoe, you didn't make $10 million. Go fuck yourself. I don't make fucking $3 to $5 million. And she goes, well, the men are making a little bit more. Yeah, well, the men didn't start making money. Random American players aren't making that at their MLS club. They started making more money because they started getting good enough to get hired at, like, AC Milan and fucking like somewhere.
They were global. They were global athletes. Yeah.
Because that's the only place you make money in soccer is if you go to Europe. Like, you're not going to make it at Chicago Fire FC unless you're Messi. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a good point.
And the only reason why Messi and Suarez make it in Miami is because there's a soccer fan that's got $1 billion who runs that team. You're not going to make that at Real Salt Lake.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? You're not, like, and I don't know. It's just it's kind of annoying, and it bleeds into what, like, hearing the women's basketball, the WNBA players talk about how they can't afford apartments in the city that they live in when they're probably clearing, your salary's maybe $200,000, but, like, with endorsement deals and shit, you're probably making close to $1 million, maybe a little under, and you can't afford an apartment. Come on. I mean, come on. What are we talking about? You play a sport that nobody fucking watches. You can't make a fucking layup. You shoot like shit. There's maybe 3 white girls that can actually hit a 3. Sabrina Ionescu, Caitlin Clark. And you fucking hate those girls.
You fucking names them.
Yeah, you fucking hate those girls. Mm-hmm. And you know what's funny? The men that you think are literally shitting on you and holding you down are the only ones watching and supporting your league.
Yeah.
I don't yell at the women because it's the women that don't give a fuck about your league. Your viewers are probably 98% men. Like, like I have never met a girl that's like, yo, I got to get home and watch this WNBA game. Or I got to go watch the Washington Mystics game. Sorry, oh my God, did you hear about, I could barely name 5 players, but there's not a single girl that's out there that could name 5 WNBA players.
I do agree with you. Yeah.
Talk to your own people. Don't talk to us. We watch the games. I've watched more WNBA games than I've watched, reality TV shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I've safe, yeah.
Yeah, I've watched probably. Look, I haven't watched a ton of WNBA games. I can confidently say, I'm probably in the top the top 10,000 WNBA viewers.
I don't know how to answer that because like you could totally right.
I'll say I'm like top 5,000.
Top 5,000. You can't name 5 players, dude. Top 5,000.
Okay, bro. Here we go. You want real quick? Test me.
5.
Asia Wilson, Natasha Howard, Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum. Fuck. Hold on. No, I could keep going. I could keep going. This is like I'm benching and I got a little left in me. Fucking who's? Oh my God. Why am I forgetting her name on the sky?
Oh yeah, come on. You talk about it all the time, dude.
I know. My bae.
Come on, man. Flap those wings.
Dude,
those wings.
I talked so much shit about her and I forget her name.
Yeah.
And then the white girl that I think's cute that played for Louisville and LSU.
Oh yes, she's the goat right now. She's my goat.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. And there's who's the Okarike? Okarike. She's on the Sparks, right?
I'm not the one that said I watched WNBA basketball, so this is all
her.
you, brother.
No, I got it. Okarike, Paige Beckers.
Yes, Paige, PB.
Juju Smith. Not Smith, Juju Watson. Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Watson. Audie Crooks. On Iowa State. Let's see. Oh, shit. I'm gonna keep trying to come back to
Chicago Sky. Come on.
I know. If I sit there and focus on
Come on. Orange packaging.
Cameron Brink.
Yes.
Okay. On the Sparks.
Orange packaging chocolates. Think of that.
I'm also missing Brianna Stewart.
Stewart. Okay, yeah. Brianna Stewart.
Let's see. I said Asia Wilson. Who's the really good guard on that team? The black girl. Why am I blanking on the Chicago Skies team?
It's a mix of a fictional character first name and orange packaging peanut butter chocolate last name.
You know what's funny is if I wasn't thinking about it, I'd just say it off the top of my tongue. But she's just absolute dog shit. I know it too. Didn't I say I could beat her one-on-one?
Yes, that was our first episode. Yes, our first ever episode aired with you saying you'd beat her one-on-one.
There's also the lesbian couple that I'm forgetting. That's on Phoenix. That's really good. Diana Taurasi is one. Yeah. There's one. I'll take that. Candace Parker. I'll take that too. I know they're retired. But
yeah, we're getting to the point of old. Yeah, now you're just naming as many as you can, physically in or out. Come on, dude, Chicago Sky. Come on, me bound, bro. You got this. Peanut butter cups, bro. Peanut butter cups.
Oh, Angel Reese.
Yes.
Angel Reese.
Yes,
Angel Reese. And fuck, I should know little white girl that talks like she's black.
Hailey Van Lith.
Hailey Van Lith.
My boo.
Dude, there's a girl on the Timbers that's really good. What's funny, as I turn this off, I'll start texting you like 5-10 more.
Yeah, you're gonna start. No, we're gonna do a thing now where it's every month or so. I'm just gonna have you name 10 WNBA players and see how.
You know what's funny is they're on Immaculate Grid, and I've tried to play them once.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, you know what's funny? I do better on that than I do on hockey players.
You do?
Because I don't remember Russian and Swedish people's name.
Yeah.
Timo Luostranian. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't remember those fucking names.
No, I agree. All right, D. College basketball. Give me a little bit of closing remarks here. This is our last topic of the show. I know we're at 1:40, but we'll keep it under 2 hours for you guys if we can. We are heading into championship week. It is underway with a presumed 37 spots remaining for rankings and for leaderboards. So we're going to see how that goes. But obviously, I think some of the bigger news is Duke guard Caleb Foster did indeed break his foot in his game versus North Carolina. So we'll kind of see where that heads, in what direction that heads. But otherwise, you have the floor here. You're the bracket man. Bracketologist Danny Albers over here. So give me a little bit.
Yeah, Caleb Foster, he's a really key part of that lineup. And if Duke isn't the national champion, I don't really know who is. Maybe Michigan. I'm not really ready to jump on the Michigan bandwagon. I did think it was pretty crazy that Michigan and Michigan State have become the biggest rivalry in basketball right now.
That's
Jamie Fears just loves kicking people in the dick. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was pretty fucking nuts. That was pretty fucking blatant. I mean, that was Draymond Green level blatant. There's been a lot of good basketball. You know, the one thing that's got me really worried, and it's really weird, is Caleb Wilson on North Carolina.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people projecting him to be the 4th overall pick. A lot of people said he fits the Bulls, which now that he might fall from 4 to like 7 or 8, where the Bulls will be, terrifies me. This guy had a broken wrist. He had some type of a wrist injury and was getting ready to come back. And in practice, with no defender, went and did a dunk and broke his finger. Like, stay the fuck away from the Bulls.
Yeah. That's
some curse
That's
shit.
The Bulls love, man. Bulls love those kind of guys.
That is some cursed ass shit. I've never heard that happen before. That's insane. First off, the guy hurt his wrist. Why do you have a coaching staff allowing him to fucking dunk?
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy is your best player, and you're like, oh yeah, you have a banged up wrist that's going to need surgery at the end of the year. Yeah, go ahead and fucking dunk. What are we doing? The Duke still has a good shot because they got the Boozer boys.
Of course, yeah, of course.
You still got the Boozers, so I do think Duke still has a shot. It might be a little hard if they pair up in the Final Four. This is where it's getting very scary for me, because I was saying there's not going to be a lot of upsets, but now I don't like any of the teams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like any of the teams sitting around the 4 to 6 seed right now, because they all look very beatable to me. I think we could get some fuckery this year, Dijo.
Some fuck shit.
I'm in for
some.
I think we can get it wouldn't be a mid-major team, but I think we can get like a Wisconsin type of team that goes on a little bit of a run into the Final Four, maybe the national title game. Louisville maybe is another one I got my eye on, but Arkansas, another one I got my eye on. But there's a lot of like really beatable teams. Like Kansas is really beatable. Purdue is really fucking beatable. Michigan State's not that good. They got a lot of flashy guys. They're just not that, but they've shown to be very beatable. There's a lot of things to be excited about. Gonzaga just won their conference for the last time they're playing in the WCC. They just beat Santa Monica, Santa something, somewhere in California. That is now a 3-bid league. I'll have to look that up. I don't think it's Santa Monica. I think I just fucked that up. But there's a lot of really good basketball going on. There's a lot of really good teams. Gonzaga is a team that a lot of people are high on. They've looked really beatable. UConn is going to be a 1 seed. They look beatable. I think if there's a 1 seed that I'm riding with that right now just looks, Houston's going to be a 1 seed, and they're going to be unbeatable. Santa Clara is the team that Gonzaga just beat. Yeah, so Houston's the only, and Houston and Michigan are the 1 seeds that I look at and I say, I don't know if anyone could beat them. I don't know if anyone could beat those guys before the Final Four. I mean, those two teams are really good. Alabama is one of the most. They're one of the most hilarious teams. They're going to be must watch because Alabama is the number 1 offense in the country. Alabama is 153rd in defense. Like, they're almost dead last.
Purely one-sided.
They're almost, and this is amongst all the Division I teams. Alabama is almost the last team in the country in terms of total points allowed and just total defense. So literally, they're the worst defense and the best offense.
That's some shit, man. That is.
And they only shoot threes. That's all they do is shoot threes.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a team that I think everyone's going to look at and they're going to be like, oh, it's Alabama, they'll win. But that's a team, if they're not hitting their threes, a team like Hofstra can come in and
that was going to be part of my closing discussion, so let me know when you're ready for that. My last question is UIC.
Let's do it.
UIC? What's up with UIC?
They didn't make it, didn't they?
They didn't make it?
I
didn't know.
Northern
I didn't realize. I should be a better Chicago fan. I should.
They lost to. Well, they lost. I told you this in the text message because Northern Iowa beat them.
Yes, Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa, their head coach. Now, if you are my age, you will know this name very well because he hit one of the most iconic shots. Their head coach is Ben Jacobson. Why was I thinking, who's the Northern Iowa guy that hit that iconic shot? I'll tell you that in a second. He might have not been on Northern Iowa. I'm blanking on names right now. But Northern Iowa beat UIC. That would have been cool because UIC's been dog shit. So that would have been cool if they won. But otherwise, Hofstra, that's really cool. I don't really have a Hofstra memory. Like you said, it was 25 years. Mm-hmm. That would have been like 2001 for me.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy when you said 25 years. I've been like, I might ask my dad
25
what that team was. When literally it says ending 25-year NCAA drought, I was like, I'll ask my dad what that was like. And it's like, or I could just remember what that was like because I was alive and watching college basketball. That's like the denial of getting old.
Yeah, fortunately, right?
But I don't have any ties to Hofstra. Moorhead just lost to somebody. Who did Moorhead? I love Moorhead State. Because who was the dread-headed black guy that played for the Nuggets?
Kenneth Faried.
So he was a March Madness hero.
Yes.
They just lost to Tennessee State. Yeah, Tennessee State ain't doing shit. Navy broke my heart.
Oh yeah, I did hear.
Yeah, Navy broke my heart. They didn't make it out of the Colonial. That was, the Patriot League, not the Colonial. The Patriot League that they play in. They were a team that was going to be really fun. You know what's really crazy? The number 5 team in the nation played today for the Big 12. You know what that means?
Okay.
That means the number 5 team in the nation is the 5th seed in the Big 12 tournament.
Ain't that some shit, man?
That means, theoretically, if they're the 5th seed and the 5th ranked team in the nation, the top 4 teams in the nation should be the 4 Big 12 teams that are playing ahead of them.
How gnarly is that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Just Arizona's a team that's I think if you're looking for like an 8 or 9 upset on the round of 32, Arizona, the bracketology has Arizona matching up with Utah State in the round of 32 as a 8 seed, and if that happens, I'd be nervous because I think Utah State could beat Arizona.
Think so?
They're really good, dude. They're really good. Utah State's one of those programs that every year, like no one really talks about them, but every year they're in it. They're making a run. Another team like that, Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon, okay. Yeah, they always
They're
got the
playing
commercials on my YouTube TV all the time. Yeah.
And they're playing in the Mountain West now. And they were not dead last in the Mountain West. I think they beat San Diego State this year. So there's a lot of really good stuff going on, guys. Tune in to college basketball. Like I said, this is probably the best season of college basketball I've watched.
I keep hearing on every podcast, every interview, every moment I have with you. That's what I keep hearing. But if people are ready,
talent.
Closing discussion. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
I'm keeping it a bit light. Usually we go through like a really in-depth question to kind of face realities or kind of go into deep conversation. But this one I'm going to keep a little light. I want you to rank these for me in terms of most impressive to least impressive. Here are 3 topics. Are you ready? Italy beating USA in baseball. Forget about World Baseball Classic. In a one-on-one baseball game, Italy winning. Bam dropping 83 points. Or Hofstra ending a 25-year NCAA drought. Which one is the most impressive and which one is the least impressive? Rank these for me.
I would have to say Hofstra ending the 25.
Is the most impressive?
Yeah, because in order to get to the NCAA tournament for a mid-major team, the stakes are high because you need to win your conference tournament to qualify. And you're playing against usually like 10 other teams that this is their dream come true. Everyone lays it out on the line in these tournaments. That's why freakazoids like you and me who like basketball are knowing the type of madness that's going on, and the rest of the country who doesn't really give a shit. They're kind of casual fans. They don't know because they're not watching Boston College.
They're waiting for the Sweet 16 kind of thing.
Yeah, they're not watching Boston University hit a buzzer beater against Navy.
Yeah, that was crazy, by the way. No defense, crazy. Didn't play any defense, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the beauty of March Madness, but it's very hard for a team to get to that level. Usually meaning you have to win 3 games. Like you have to go on a 4-game winning streak over 4 days. Like that's really hard to do. I'm not saying 83 points is not hard, but look, now that people saw Bam do it, there's going to be a lot more people trying for 83 points.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's that hard when you go to the line 42 times and you hit 36 free throws.
Exactly. That stat needs to live glued to the fact that he scored 83. So that half of those points came from the free throw line.
Yeah, and so I don't want to take away what Bam did. I just think in today's age it's much more. I'm surprised someone hasn't done it sooner.
That's a kind of good point. It's been 20 years since Kobe 81. We got Donovan Mitchell 70. We got Devin Booker 70. I think we got a random.
I'm surprised Steph hasn't done it. Yeah. I'm surprised Steph hasn't done it with how much threes he shoots and hits and his efficiency. I'm surprised Steph hasn't done it. Or Kevin Durant. Or James Harden. James Harden, if there's a guy built to score 83 points in a game, because he just doesn't give a fuck, is James Harden. Yeah, so I would say probably that. We've also seen a cluster of guys score in the 60s. We've seen a lot of people do that. Yeah. So it's not that much of a jump. And when you're playing Washington at the end of the regular season, it might be a little easier to do that. Italy, I mean, the U.S. men were treating that as they were kind of treating that as a exhibition game. Plus, Italy had a bunch of American players that could play for Team USA. Like Vinny Pasquantino could easily play for Team USA instead of Paul Goldschmidt. So Aaron Nola is for sure good enough to play for Team USA. He's pitching for Team Italy. So, yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I would have to go with Hofstra because it takes a lot to build. It takes a lot to build a basketball program.
So you're going right now. You're going Hofstra. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bam, and then Italy last.
Yeah,
okay,
Italy's for sure last.
And that's a pretty good list because it's kind of where I expected you to go. My difference, obviously, I'm going to pick Bam just because of the way history doesn't always repeat itself. I'm going Bam first, Hofstra second, Italy versus USA third. I totally understand the argument of Hofstra coming first because, again, a 25-year versus a 20-year drought, that's what we saw in terms of playoff berth for NCAA berth or beating the record. I'm going to give the edge of beating the points record is a little bit different because that's an individual effort rather than like a team effort. You can always build a good team. You can always build, especially when it comes to schools, it's all about raising money and funds. But a player like Bam dropping 83 to me is like, it is fucking absolutely crazy. But that's our show. We are at 1:59 and 50 seconds. We're about to hit the 2-minute mark. We love you guys, and thank you for joining us for our 9th episode. Also, shout out to Matas Buzelis, because I forgot to mention, he dropped 41 points, career high, against the Warriors the night that Bam dropped 83, so that's going to go forgotten. But Matas, we appreciate you. Thank you for showing up, and he did win us the game, unfortunately, because we wanted to keep losing. But shout out Matas.
I don't appreciate you, Matas. You still got to earn my respect.
You still have to earn his respect. There's only 1 out of 2 Dannys that you've earned. In order for you to own full respect of this podcast, you're gonna have to get 2 Danny approvals, and that's.
I'm not locked. I'm not locked.
As we've talked about before, getting this Danny's approval is quite difficult, if you ask me. So
the best damn sports show.
The best damn sports show. You fucking heard it. Come back for episode 10 next week. That's gonna be a pretty good celebration for us. We're gonna have a lot more topics to go. And I'll see next week is brackets. Thursday, we're going to go through our Wednesday show. Definitely kind of, gathering all the information left before you fill out your bracket and get it all ready to go. We appreciate you guys showing up for episode 9.
Let's do it.
Peace be with you.
Pope says peace be with you. Yeah, next week, bracket times, baby.
Bracket times.
This time next week, you're going to have a bracket in your fucking hand.
Yes, I'm really excited to pick out my brackets, so that's going to happen next week as well.
Park on the driveway.
Park on the driveway. Thanks, guys.
Later, boys.